Hello, everybody. Welcome to REVERB's Quarantine Kitchen for another episode of our favorite musicians, celebrities, and other interesting folks cooking their favorite sustainable meals. We've got a great show tonight. I'm your host, Adam Gardner. I am playing the band Guster, and also am co-founder of the environmental nonprofit organization REVERB, which is, who presents this show to you. Normally, REVERB is out on tour with bands like Tame Impala and Dave Matthews Band, Billie Eilish, and a bunch of other tours, greening their tours, making them more environmentally friendly, while engaging all their fans to take actions at the concerts in a big eco village. But of course, none of that's happening right now during these quarantine times. So we thought we would try to bring a little bit of reverb into your homes. And this would be a fun way of engaging with our artist partners and some new artist friends, including our artist tonight, who's brand new. I just met Joe earlier today. He's otherwise known as his musical entity is known as Nothing Nowhere. And I am so pleased to bring him on. We are making a vegan dish tonight. It's tahini maple syrup Buddha bowl. And Joe is our first official. We've made some other vegan dishes before, but he is our first official declared vegan. Won't be our last, but he is the first of this series. This is episode 10. If you're just tuning in now, if you haven't heard of REVERB, or if you haven't heard of the Quarantine Kitchen, we have all 9 other episodes up on our website. You just go to reverb.org/quarantine kitchen. I am paying attention to your comments over here on the side. So if you have anything that you have any questions or things you want to say, we'll do our best to take a look at this. When I bring on Joe here in a minute, I can also relay any questions you have for him while he's busy cooking us this incredible vegan dish. I am super excited to get to know Joe a little bit more, as some of you are fans of Nothing Nowhere and are very familiar with them. And for those of you that are new to Nothing Nowhere and vegan dishes and just interested in cooking, I think this is going to be a lot of fun. So why don't we get into it? Joe, please come on board. Come into our world. There he is.
What's up,
How you
Adam?
doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. This is I'm the first vegan, huh?
I think you are, at least publicly, yes.
Pressure's on. Pressure's on.
You represent all vegans everywhere.
Yeah, everyone. My cooking, everything, yeah. Sweet. I'll do my best.
That's all you can ask for. That's something my mom said to me growing up. It's like, do your best, forget the rest. That's all you can do.
I like that.
Sage advice. So we were talking earlier, and I said, is cooking something that is new to you? You've been doing for a long time, or is this kind of new because of quarantine, or where are you at with cooking these days?
Yeah, I'm new to cooking for sure. I'm for so long, even being vegan, I'm a frozen foods guy, like frozen vegetables, like microwave them up, and just recently got more into cooking when I got I figure I have a nice kitchen, I might as well start using it, doing it a disservice to be using the microwave so much. So it's just, when you make something, it's kind of like a zen thing. Like when you're making it, it just forces you to be present, and it's a little bit more rewarding than just the old microwave.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've, been like all of us, which is part of why we even have this show, is that more and more people are cooking because they're stuck at home and they don't want to do takeout necessarily all the time or whatever it is, or they just have more time on their hands in general and want to get into it.
Totally.
It's been a lot of fun for me too. Well, we're talking about being vegan on the road, and my band Guster's been touring for a long time, and I know early days we had a number of crew folks that were vegetarian and vegan had a rough time finding solid options, especially in certain parts of our country where it just didn't exist. It sounds like it's a lot better now, and also everywhere around the world. Not just, I know times when we've been to Europe and stuff like that, it used to be, at least in the 90s, it was difficult to find something, it's vegetarian, but it actually has, pork cheek in it or something.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's definitely, even in the years that I've been vegan about 9 years now, and it's gotten so much better to the point where I was telling you earlier, we were overseas, kind of in like Warsaw and Poland and Russia, and just these places where you wouldn't really expect it, I guess, for maybe out of pure ignorance. And some of the best vegan restaurants I've ever been to have been in areas you wouldn't expect it. So
Hmm.
it's really cool. You definitely have sometimes run into some parts of the U.S. on tour where you're like, get your peanut butter and jelly ready because
Right.
there's not much. But yeah, I think things are moving along and there's more options for people who want to give veganism a shot or are already vegan.
Definitely. Well, and I think what I like about what I'm seeing too is the inclusivity of, like, and this is very similar to how Reverb approaches all of our environmental work. It's, hey, if we ask people to do absolutely everything, not everyone's going to do that. But you get a lot more people involved. If you're like, hey, let's go meatless on Mondays at least, or let's talk about the impacts of meat environmentally. I'm not sure for you, was it about the environment or was it about cruelty to animals, or what was your entree into, like, what brought you there?
Yeah. So in 2011, I was a freshman at Burlington College in Vermont. I was in a filmmaking program, and I had met one of my friends, Evan, and he was the first like vegan person I'd ever met. I was 19, and prior to meeting him, I was, Wendy's Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. I'll get 3 of them at the drive-thru. Like I was a goblin. I was disgusting. And it was just, I don't know, I guess maybe subconsciously I started thinking about it and considering my food choices a little bit more. And he, I think I came across this video by a man called Gary Yourofsky, and he's kind of an animal rights activist. And I remember watching his lectures and kind of sleeping on it, and not being able to sleep, I guess, and just considering the ethics of what's on my plate and just thinking about it a little bit more. And 2 days passed, and I called up my buddy and just was like, hey, I got a bunch of meat in my freezer. I'm going to give this thing a go. And I gave it a go, and here we are, like 9 years later, still going strong. So it kind of stemmed on the ethics point of it, but the fact that it's a one-stop shop, it's pretty healthy, it's good for the environment. I think it's cool. I think it's cool that people are becoming more interested in it as well, and at least dipping their toes into, the pool of veganism.
Definitely more just plant-based diets in general, for sure. Yeah, I think it's great. So we actually, I do want to get into the recipe, but before we do, I do also want to recognize that there's some great questions that have already come in. So from Summer, the question was, what's your favorite vegan midnight munchie?
Vegan midnight munchie. Man, I'm crazy about peanut butter and jelly. Not the healthiest thing, but like, there's just something about it. It's just so easy. It's just like, it'll fill you up. You know what I mean? I also, I don't know. I'm just pretty really into like sugar snap peas. Like,
Yeah.
just like you can eat them out of the bag. They're pretty boring, but like if I don't start eating those, I'll probably eat like 4 or 5 peanut butter and jellies, and no one wants that. So. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, and there's a bunch of other questions. We will get to some of them.
Okay.
I want to have one more, and then we're going to get into your recipe. What's your favorite like vegan spot on tour in the U.S.? Like, is there a particular city or restaurant that sticks out in your mind? It doesn't have to be the best, but like anything that comes to mind right now.
Sorry, cut out a little bit. Favorite like vegan restaurant around, like in any city or?
In the U.S., yeah.
Yeah. So I ran into a couple really. I'm gonna mess up the name, I think, but it's like New Vegan or Soul Vegan or something. So a lot of really good soul food vegan places down south. Most notably in Washington D.C. It's an amazing spot. Also down in Boston, Veggie Galaxy in Cambridge is something I'm really fond of, but it's hard. I mean, when you go out to LA, it's like they're so spoiled out there.
Yeah.
They have everything. Little Pine, Moby, the musician, owns Little Pine. A friend and collaborator of mine, Travis Barker, is one of the owners of Crossroads Kitchen over in LA. So, I mean, one of the many things that I love about touring is the vegan food, for sure.
That's great. All right, well, let's get into it. You're making a recipe, tahini maple syrup Buddha bowl.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, yeah, I figured I've done some prep work here so we can actually talk a little bit. But what we're going to start off with is I have the oven preheating at 400. We're just going to put some sweet potatoes and we're going to cut up an onion, put that in there, and put some salt and pepper, get that rocking, and then we'll continue it. So I'm going to grab this sheet right here, and we will get it going.
And we can, for those who are following along, the recipe is available. There should be a link right below here on our Facebook page. And also I think we can have someone from Reverb put it in the chat right now too.
Right. And this right here, the cutting of the onion, is probably where actual chefs and people who know how to cook are going to be cringing right now. Because whenever I see Gordon Ramsay or like, you know, a high caliber chef like cut vegetables, you're like, how do they do? It's just like magic. But it's inspiring, I guess. It's something to like aspire to.
I just aspire to not cutting off my fingers when I'm chopping anything.
Yeah. I haven't had that yet, so that's good. But I don't know what I'm doing. We like to freestyle over here. Cool.
Well, your knife is just out of range of the shot, so it looks expert from here.
Yeah, I can just pretend that I'm cutting, but I'm not.
Move it really quick.
Yeah, just make noise. Start throwing it. Hibachi style.
Totally.
Man, I miss hibachi. Something about hibachi. I don't know what it is. When I was a kid, I used to beg my mom, like, please go to Benihana, like, please. And she's like, no, we're not going to Benihana. We went like last week. Anyways. Yeah, I'm just putting these on here.
Nice. Cool. And so this is a fairly, what I love about this recipe is that it's not complex. It is for anybody. And that's kind of the idea of this show too. None of us are professional chefs here. We're just trying to make something delicious, but you don't have to be a professional chef to make something awesome and healthy and good for you and the environment at home.
Yeah. But we're all just trying our best. And that's all that matters. And like I said, like cooking is like, it's so much more than just the process. Like it's nice. You could like, and to like the best part about cooking, I guess, like is just having other people taste it, whether it's good or bad. It's like, I don't know, you get to share it with someone else, and that's really cool.
Who are you? So who are you cooking for these days? Are you home alone? Do you have folks with you? Like, what's your situation over there?
So I live with my girlfriend up here in Vermont, and we kind of just cook for each other. My parents will come over, and they're much better cooks than I am, so they usually cook for me. But hopefully, as this quarantine continues and my cooking goes, I can start cooking for them a little bit more.
There you go. So they're in Vermont as well?
Well, yeah, they have a house actually in Vermont, but they're from Massachusetts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're still like Foxborough, where you grew up?
They live in Scituate.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah, South Shore. Yeah.
Yeah. Massachusetts. Cool. Talking about it.
Crazy.
A bunch of New Englanders.
I know. It's it's weird. Like in music, you don't really like run into a lot of people from New England. Like, I don't know, that you run into people from all over, but once you run into someone from New England, you're like, I don't know, there's a bond there for sure.
So you're just adding, I just want to make sure we're following along here. So you just added the some avocado oil?
I added some olive oil, which I normally wouldn't do. I usually lean towards coconut oil, but that's what we got at the house, so that's what we're rocking with right now. Drizzled some on top, and now I'm going to put it in the oven at 400 for 10 minutes.
Okay.
So in she goes, and not burn myself, because that would be, I don't want to turn into a meme.
It's inevitable. You live, you live, there's a lot of time you spend online and your face is there. It can happen, especially
I've already been turned into a meme many times, but it happens to the best of them, for sure. Yeah.
So were you, and I kind of ask every artist that comes on the show as a guest chef, were you in the middle of touring when the stay-at-home order came down, or did you have touring plans that got interrupted by all this, or?
Yeah, I wasn't in the middle of a tour, but we were about to start a tour, and I picked the worst year of all years to do a world tour. So we had a world tour booked, and everything hit, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, it's tough. There's so many bands that are in that same exact position. Guster was actually on tour. We had to come home from St. Louis. We were like not even quite halfway through a run of dates.
Was it like a slow, like as each show was coming, we were like, okay, this is getting weird, this is getting weirder, and then like we should totally just bail, or?
Yeah, it was definitely, we could feel it coming. And
Yeah.
there was two legs, so there was a kind of a 2 week break. We all have kids and stuff, so we wanted to get home between legs. And we're like, well, if we just have two more shows left in this first leg, we can get there. And we didn't. It came that fast. We thought for sure we'd at least, we were definitely discussing, like, is there going to be a second leg? But we didn't even finish the first. But yeah, I'm glad we did. It started for us. We decided together, like, it was just starting to feel irresponsible. Like, why are we bringing people together right now? This doesn't feel right. And it kind of slowly went from, like, maybe we shouldn't do a meet and greet to, like, we do the meet and greet, but we didn't want to, like, touch anybody. And, it's just, it just, it was a slow but clear road to, like, okay, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as for as much like complaining as I like to do sometimes on tour, like, oh man, it's like this bunk, like, blah, blah, like, you take things for granted. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much beauty about live music and just sharing that connection with people who support you. Like, I miss it so much, and
Yeah,
we'll see when it comes back, but it's gonna be awesome when it finally does, for sure.
you've been doing some online stuff. I know, like, a lot of artists are kind of doing their best to put something in the streaming world besides cooking vegan meals.
Yeah.
Have you been doing any musical stuff online?
Yeah, so we did a live stream, myself and my band, Bert and Tyler. We did a live stream concert, which was set outside here in Vermont, and that was really fun. It was called Isolation Assembly, and it's still on YouTube if anyone wants to check it out. That was really cool, and I try to hop on Twitch. I stream on Twitch, kind of making music or sometimes video games. Just try and, like, hang out with people, and it helps me to, like, chat with the outside world. And
Totally.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
and yeah, that's, I think, for me at least, this is a question for you. It's like, what is it about music? Like, why music for you? Like, what was there a particular moment? I know you were into film originally, and
Yeah.
then took a turn towards music. What kind of pushed you in that direction?
Yeah, so I've been making music since I was 12, 11 or 12. I started playing guitar, and it's always been something that I've held near and dear to my heart. By the way, I just added some spices so we can follow
Okay, yeah,
along.
don't let me interrupt you.
No, you're good. You're good. I just added some spices here. I added a 1 teaspoon of cumin, 3/4 teaspoon garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon salt, pepper, half teaspoon oregano, 1/4 teaspoon turmeric. Got all these guys right here, and I just put them in these chickpeas right here. I'm just gonna, get that going. But I've been playing music since I was 12, and I decided to go to film school over like a Berkeley or like a music school, because for some reason in my mind, like, a film career was, quote unquote, more attainable than a music career, which they're both, they're not known money makers, you know what I mean? I just was like, if I try to be a musician, nothing will ever happen, and but I do like film and music. They've always been in tandem, like two things that I really love. Um, so I was kind of doing the film thing, working internships, and I quit my job at an editing company, saved up some money, and decided I'm gonna send it and just do it. I started nothing, nowhere, and right as I started running out of that fund, people started buying some merch that I was shipping out of my room and going to the post office, and I was like, this is really promising, and I haven't had a real job since. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah,
And was it sound, I obviously did a little research. It sounded like SoundCloud was a kind of a bigger place where that helped with all the momentum.
yeah.
Where
I
you
really
found your
think,
audience
like,
with it.
2013 and like 2015, when, like, I really, like, dove into this particular project. SoundCloud was so unprecedented in the way that you could just put your music out there, no professional mixing, mastering. Like, I would make a song one day and just post it the same day, and that was like, those were the days. It's really cool. So yeah, SoundCloud and Reddit, and just born from the internet, definitely.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, totally. So I'm
That's
gonna take
amazing.
you with me over here, by the way, because we're gonna put these chickpeas on here. Let me see. Let me know if this still works, or this, perhaps. Cool.
Yeah, that was great.
All right, cool. So just gonna heat this up, put these guys on.
Nice copper pan there too.
The people who lived here, they just left it here. I was like, all
Wow.
right, yeah, like sure. They left a lot of awesome stuff. They left the piano from 1914. They left this cool pan. They left 3 chickens. I was like, all right, guys.
Your life. You're
Yeah.
hanging out with your chickens and cooking on your copper pan and playing on your awesome vintage piano.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Cool. So I have this on like kind of like the low heat right now. Just gonna add some of this. Like I said, not a huge fan of olive oil, but we do what we do. Sometimes you can treat yourself. Why not? Who cares? I think that's another thing too with like a lot of people who lean towards like veganism and like eating healthy. Like you don't have to overdo it. Like you can have days where you have an Oreo or 2.
Yeah, I think I teach their own, but yeah, for me, I find with all these things, you have to, moderation and figuring out what is going to sustain your efforts, and if it doesn't make sense to like do it for 2 weeks and then blow it out and be like, forget it, I'm going back to Wendy's,
Yeah.
So it does make sense. Like, well, what's going to have, the longest term impact on your body and the planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for folks, actually, this is an opportunity for me to plug a partner of ours at Oxfam is a partner of the show, and they have a great resource for healthy eating as well that I do want to plug. If you go to oxfam.org, it's hold on, let me pull it up here. Eat for Good, oxfamamerica.org. They have a whole Eat for Good section there that has all sorts of recommendations. Back to your chickpeas.
Killer. Yeah. So the chickpeas are chickpeaing right now, doing their thing. And we got some time to buy. We got about 2 minutes till we got to flip the sweet potato and the onions and put them back in for
awesome. All right, well, let's get back into some questions that I have for you. So it's interesting. Like, so, and I'm kind of in the same boat where I don't like when people are like, so what's your music? Like, what genre are you? What's your music sound like? I'm like, I don't know. Check it out. Like, go on Spotify or whatever and check it out. But what I found interesting is like all the different collaborations you've done, and it is quite differently. You have Chris Carrara, you have Travis Barker from Blink-182, and then you also have Lil West, the rapper. Yeah. So it's an interesting. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, you really can't be pinned down, and I think that's amazing. How are each of those experiences? I think collaborating with any other musician is always really interesting and a learning experience, but to collaborate with musicians from such different places in music, that must have been really enriching.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think a lot of it comes from growing up just around different cultures, different backgrounds, and being friends with different friend groups, and just being interested in a lot of different types of music and being like, there's so much I love about rap music. There's so much I love about post-hardcore or, whatever, folk music. My Spotify playlist can be like Nick Drake straight into like, I don't know, 21 Savage or something. So I think it's only right that my music is kind of a reflection of that, and I like that. I like not being tied to a genre, and when you collaborate with people from a different genre, they just have a different perspective. They have a different lens. So you usually get something really awesome with it. Like, I'll never forget like the Jay-Z when I was younger. I was a really big fan of Linkin Park, and there's kind of like Jay-Z, Linkin Park mashups and stuff, and it's so different, but it works so well. I love that stuff.
Yeah, Linkin Park was a longtime REVERB supporter. We did several tours with them over the year.
That's awesome.
And actually, we did a tour with Blink-182 as well when they did the Honda Civic tour.
No way.
Yeah, we had our staff as part of that tour, making it as green as possible. Nice potholders; those are awesome.
Got to stay on brand. Yeah. So now we're flipping these bad boys right here. We're flipping the sweet potatoes and the onions. Just so, being gentle with them. Cool. Yeah, that's crazy. That's so cool what you guys do, because if you're kind of an environmentalist and you're going on tour, I think in a lot of us, there's that light that goes off in your head. You're like, uh-oh. Like, I'm doing a good thing by spreading my message and doing what I can at home, but what can we do on the road, because it's pretty resource intensive, and how do we mitigate the effects of what we're doing?
Yeah, for sure. Well, and the standard practices, which are slowly changing, which is great. We'd like to see the change happen more quickly, and we are working to accelerate it. But generally, the culture comes from A, excess, and B, just everything's disposable, right? So like, because everything's moving, you have all these disposable single-use plastic water bottles, like, cases and cases of those bottles on the rider and all that stuff. That is not necessary, and there's ways to work around it. So that's a lot of what REVERB does is, hey, how do we work on the band side? How do we work on the venue side? And how do we then take the audience that's there and engage them in local organizations and national campaigns and global campaigns?
That's awesome.
So, yeah. When if touring ever happens again, you're out, we'll talk. See how we can help you.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
It'll happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, music's kind of important, right?
I hope so. I hope people think so, because you and I certainly pitched our wagons to that concept.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So just another 10 minutes on the sweet potatoes and the onions, and when those are done, I'm just gonna put some kale in with them, and we'll do like 5 minutes with that. And we're just keeping an eye on these chickpeas. Awesome.
Well, this is probably a good time then to just talk about Cliff Bar. They're a partner of this program as well, and as part of their partnership, this summer they've committed to giving away 7 million Cliff Bars to hungry children and families in need that normally get their food from school. And as part of that, they're giving 1,000 Cliff Bars every episode to the guest chef, yourselves, choice, organization of choice, and you chose Food Not Bombs. What was the connect? Is there connection to that organization, or what led you there?
So when it comes to Food Not Bombs, their organization spoke to me because they're reclaiming vegan and vegetarian food and giving it to people in need, and they're also advocating for anti-war principles, and I think it's a great one-stop shop for a nonprofit. If you ask me, all my interests in one. So I really like the stuff they're doing over there, and this makes me very happy that Cliff is going to help as well. So I'm hyped.
Awesome. Well, I'm really glad too, and it's a nice thing. It's a nice way to, it's a lot of work. Like you were saying before we went live, you're like, God, I'm more nervous to do this than a show, and that's almost every guest chef says that. So it's nice to be like, well, hey, as a thank you for doing this, we do want to, make a donation to an organization you care about.
Yeah, my minor discomfort and nerves about this is totally worth the charity aspect. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's great. Very cool. Let's talk about quarantine a little bit. Have you been staying relatively? How are you doing? Has it been what's been challenging for you? Has it affected your creativity positively or negatively or both?
Yeah, I think so. Just in general, we've been doing fine. I moved into a new house, as I was saying earlier. During this, somehow it was all contactless, paper signings over whatever, and it's been going pretty well. I mean, I have a nice little oasis here where I can kind of do my own thing. But in terms of the creative process, I think I kind of started to overdo it a little bit. It's like maybe you feel the same, where it's like you feel like because everything is slowing down and you can't get to the studio or something, you want to like kind of overextend yourself. So I felt like at the beginning I was really like just pushing myself a little too much and getting writer's block. And I was like, all right, like music is a fluid process and you need to channel this inspiration from somewhere. I don't know where it comes from. So I think now I'm getting more into it, but it was definitely kind of like stressful at first because I was putting so much pressure on myself,
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's been going fine. Just been hanging out with the chickens and hanging out, just chilling. It's nice. It's a nice break from, touring like we do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've experienced the same thing as a band. We write together, so obviously we live in different states. We can't be together. but even, you know, individually, we generally work on stuff so we can bring it to the group, and that it's been a challenge, especially at first. I mean, like this whole thing is, I think, such a shock to everybody. I found that there's even some kind of aftershocks that kick in, and there's a lot of up and down. Like, you know, one day you're feeling great, like this is so nice, and the other days you're like, oh my God, this is intense. Yeah. So it's I think the biggest walkaway I had so far is just to kind of take it easy on ourselves and each other as much as we can. And there are those moments where we freak out. You're like, oh my God, we have to do, you know, like there's a fight or flight thing that kicks in. And it's like, nah, hold on. Like, let's, you know, this is a marathon. This isn't a sprint. This is going to be a bit.
It's, I mean, there is a lot of positives to it too, when you look at it in a different light. Like, you know, I'm cooking more, or maybe you're meditating more, or you're spending more time with your family. Or I've seen a lot of my friends and my peers take up new hobbies and new, like, just overall, like, self-wellness steps. And it's cool, because I feel like without the quarantine, like, you know, maybe someone wouldn't have learned a new instrument or, you know, tried cooking. So
totally.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, like one of my favorite things about this show is one of my favorite things about quarantine is I'm learning all these different recipes from old friends and new, and I've tried all of them. There, you know, it's been great. It's fun to try all these recipes, and
awesome.
It's been a blast. And I hope, you know, I hope our viewers are trying a recipe or will. And again, there's a bunch more recipes on Reverb's Quarantine Kitchen. You go to reverb.org/quarantine kitchen. They're all there, and this video will be there too. It's on Facebook too, obviously. Stored there. So where are we in your recipe right now? Because we're getting kind of near our 30 minutes.
So the chickpeas are done. Move them over here. We're just waiting on the sweet potato and onion to come back. Yeah, we're coming to the finish line right now. Thankfully, I did already kind of make the tahini maple sauce, so we could save ourselves some time. I just have to add some hot water. So the tahini maple sauce is 1/4 cup tahini, 1 to 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. We did 2 because it's great. Half lemon squeezed, and then 1 to 2 tablespoons of hot water, which we can add right now. But yeah, it's like, this is insane, this stuff right here. I could just eat this. I feel like that's the star of the dish right there.
And you got that Vermont maple syrup right there too, I bet.
Oh yeah, we got it right here. We got I got to shout out
in the tin and everything.
Yeah, the Maple Fix Farm. Got to shout them out over in Fairfax, Vermont. It's our friend Renee. She does some really good stuff.
That's awesome.
Cool. So I'll just add some hot water to this. But yeah, this is crazy. I was very nervous, but I think I'm all right now. I think we're surviving.
You're doing great. You're doing great. There's there was one more question, and then it sounds like we're almost ready for the big grand finale of finishing the dish. There's a question about your rose tattoo and what the meaning is of that.
Oh yeah, sure. So this whole arm is all stuff from Vermont. This is like a loon, a brook trout, it's a log cabin, the Vermont seal. So this is like kind of my nature arm, and a rose is my favorite flower, so why not put your favorite flower on you? You only live once. So yeah, that was done by Griffin Guernsey out in Anaheim. Yeah, a while ago. Yeah.
What got you connected to nature? Like, what was the thing that brought that love out and that passion that you have for the environment and nature in general?
I think we grab this tablespoon. I think so. My dad is an outdoorsman himself, and he kind of instilled that in me when I was younger. How important nature is. He'd take us on hikes, take us backpacking. You know, he'd take us in a kayak, and it's just it's one of those things that once you experience it, it's kind of like mind blowing, I guess. I don't know. It's always great to have the experience of bringing someone who lives in a city out into the woods, and it's such a it's just such a mind-blowing experience, and I wanted to experience that as much as I possibly could. So as I've grown up, my love for nature has been here, and I just want to protect it. I want to enjoy it. nature is the best for sure.
I found, especially during this time, getting out into it, even if it's just a walk in the woods or staring out the water or wherever you are, just connecting, even if it's just touching grass and like squatting in it and just touching the earth. It literally and figuratively grounds you. I think there's something very real about that.
Yeah, there is. I think nature's a healer for sure, at some capacity at least. It's not going to heal everything, but it's just obviously we're very disconnected from nature here in 2020, and just as a modern human, that when you go back to it, there's a part of your brain that's just like, yeah, like I want more of that. You know what I mean? It's so deeply rooted into us that, you know, taking a walk in the woods will do wonders for you. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, shout out nature.
Go, mama, nature. And cool. You know, that is one of the side benefits of everyone staying at home, is that, you know, our impacts on nature negatively are lessened by just the nature of us staying.
I know, right?
And not driving. Yeah.
Yeah, not driving everywhere all the time.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
I mean, all right, what do we got here?
So the sweet potato. Yep.
It's time for something.
Yeah. the sweet potato and the onions, all good. Then we got we're good for 4 or 5 more minutes.
Sure, yeah.
This. Cool. All right. Because you need the kale. Appreciate everybody's patience with me.
Awesome. About great.
Two handfuls, however many. Freestyle it. Cool. Actually, might be 2 handfuls in here. Whatever. You know what? We're gonna treat ourselves.
Treat yourself. It's kale.
It's kale. Come on. Yeah, it's a treat for so many people. Just that sweet tooth. Kale.
I actually love kale. I eat kale for breakfast in the morning. I kind of start with a sauteed bed of kale, and then, you know, for me, I'll put an egg over it or hummus or whatever.
Right. Oh yeah, it's the best. Dark leafy greens, gotta get them. All right, cool.
All right, so that pops in the oven?
Yeah, pots in the oven, 400. Just do 4 minutes, and should be ready to plate it after that 4 minutes.
That's awesome.
Cool. So you're you're over in Portland?
Yeah, we're in Maine. REVERB's based out of the old port in Portland, Maine, and and so most of our work is national and now becoming more international. But yeah, we're based in Maine. And
I haven't been to Maine in a second. Last time I was in Maine actually was last summer, because Blink-182 was playing there, and we shot a music video, and I don't know how to pronounce. Is it Bangor?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, Bangor. Yeah, it's beautiful up there. There's a lot of wooden Paul Bunyans. What's up with that?
I'm not sure I can answer for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Paul Bunyan, there is a connection to Paul Bunyan in Maine, although I know other states claim Paul Bunyan too, so I don't know.
Someone's got to get the facts.
I'm technically from away. That's what they say. Like, I'm not a Mainer. And some folks are so hardcore. I think Vermont has a similar thing.
Yeah, Vermont, there's I'm a Flatlander.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not 4th generation or whatever, you're from away. My kids are from Maine because my wife is 5th generation, so I can say my kids are 6th generation Mainers, but I can't claim any of that, unfortunately.
Maniacs. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I know like in Vermont here, like a lot of people are into Guster. I know did you guys do something with the symphony orchestra here?
We did, yeah, at that beautiful outdoor venue there on the farm. That was lovely. I mean, Vermont's incredible, and Ryan from our band lives there too. And Luke has a cabin there, so yeah, there's a connection to Vermont for sure.
Right.
I'm curious, so with these collaborations, like, how did that happen? It sounds like Travis and you are pretty close now. Like, how did that come about?
Yeah, so I mean, like, I've been a fan of Blink-182 since I was a little kid. They're a staple in my life, and posters of them growing up. And I work with an awesome dude by the name of Johnny Minardi, and he's kind of like my A&R guy, and he started a record label with Travis, and I'll never forget when Johnny said, like, yo, Travis has heard your music. Like, he's wondering if you want to come over and work on. I was like, what? Like, I'm about to go to Travis's spot and make some music. And it was a trip for me. And it was such a cool, he's such a cool, like, normal dude. For his, just because Blink-182 is just so massive. And just such a humble dude. Also a vegan guy. Just insane at the drums, and I still kind of pinch myself, you know what I mean? Because I've been such a fan for years. It's hard not to fan out about it, you know?
I know I think that's one of the fun parts of what we do is we do get to, if we're lucky, we get to meet some of our heroes, and even just meeting them is incredible. And then if you get to actually work with them and collaborate with them, even better. It's not why you do it, but it's such a awesome bonus.
Totally. It's weird. It's weird being a musician sometimes, but it's great. Cool. So we got about 30 seconds left, and we start playing this bad boy.
Awesome.
Do have bowls, yes.
I did have a question as far as how you create your music. Is it you and your laptop? Is it you and an instrument that, like, does it start in a certain way, or?
Yeah, I think it always starts with my guitar, just because that's my first love, and it's kind of what I know the best. I do start songs with piano sometimes, but I'm by no means a piano player, so I just feel like I can express myself a little bit better with the guitar and what my brain's trying to put out. Because so much of creative processes, you have this in your head. How can my limbs interface? You know, and there's that connection where you need to, like, get what's in here into something tangible to put into people's ears. And I just think the guitar is the best medium for me to do that. So yeah, guitar.
That makes sense. Sure. Yeah, because you don't want to have to think about how to play with this or that when you're just you have an idea and you're trying to get it out and you want to flow.
Yeah, and it helps to just have something, like, right nearby. Make sure your keyboard's always on. Make sure your guitar's plugged in, because, as I'm sure you know, like, you'll be driving, you'll get a melody in your head, and you'll be like, oh no, and thankfully we have iPhones now, and we can just rip a melody, you know?
That's been huge. I know the iPhone has been huge. That was, again, like, I'm an old fart, so they're, back in my day, we had to bring, like, little microcassette recorders with us, and if you didn't have it with you, well, that idea could come and go, and you lose it.
That's a terrible, terrible feeling, for sure.
All right, so it looks like we're ready for the big moment.
This is a big moment, probably the biggest moment anyone's gonna see in a while. Yeah, so I'll start off with the kale going in, nice and sauteed, a little crispy. Put that in there, and then we'll put a little bit of these sweet potatoes in there with those onions. You can freestyle this however you want. If you want to put the chickpeas in first, go for it. It's no rule zone. Cool. Get that going right there. Get our tahini concoction that we made with the maple syrup, which is insane. Let me move this out of the way.
Put your skeleton mitts on.
Gotta have them. We're selling those right now. No, I'm just kidding. We're not selling them.
You should. You should.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna add some chickpeas to this bad boy.
This looks awesome.
Oh, it's killer.
I'm like ready for dinner too, so my stomach is growling.
Oh,
it's amazing.
It's the best to cook when you're hungry. It's the worst to grocery shop when you're hungry.
Yeah.
You come home with the dumbest stuff. Like, I bought a dragon fruit the other day. I was like, I don't eat dragon fruit. I don't know. Yeah, drizzle some of that goodness on there. There we go. Boom. Cool.
We need a close-up of the whole dish. We need to see this head on.
Thank you.
Yeah, please
take us
close.
I can flip this. Can I?
For those of you who have smell-o-vision at home, turn on your computers for the odor.
That's what we're rocking with right there. A little bit of everything.
Gorgeous.
A little bit of everything.
All right. We want the vicarious bite, though. We need you to take a bite and express on your face just how delicious your dish is.
First of all, the aromatic You can smell the cumin, turmeric. You can smell it all. It's really nice. But I'm gonna get a whole bite here. Get the sweet potato, a little bit of chickpea in there, and just sink it.
Oh yeah.
Woo!
There it is.
That's the jam right there. Everyone's
Awesome.
gotta try that.
Vegan magic. Thanks so much, Joe. This is awesome. Total success. Really great to meet you and talk with you and like hear what's going on with everything. It was a pleasure to meet you, and we're really honored to have you on the show. And I hope that we can continue to stay in touch, especially as you are gearing up to tour again. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Yeah, thank you so much. Reverb's killing it. We got to do more for environmentalism in music. So thank you so much.
Yeah, right on, Joe. Appreciate it. Again, thanks to Oxfam, thanks to Cliff Bar, and thanks to, your label was awesome. Aaron at your label really pulled this all together and kicked butt. Fueled by Ramen, Electra.
Fueled by.
Yeah, really awesome. So thanks to everybody from your team. They were a pleasure to work with, and you're a lovely human as well. So thanks so much.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.
For those of you who are new to this, please check out reverb.org/quarantine kitchen for all the other episodes. We're going to take next week off, but then we're going to have a special guest the following week, also cooking a vegan recipe. We're also going to be involved in this whole plant-based party, which I am going to hit you up about as well, Joe. We'll talk about that another time. But everyone stay tuned on Reverb's Facebook page and get on our email list, all that stuff. But hope everyone's staying safe and staying sane and stay healthy out there. Thanks, everyone. See you soon.